Almost exactly 1 year ago, the Jaguars began laying the foundation for this season's success by hiring top football executive Tom Coughlin and head coach Doug Marrone. As for one of the heroes in Jacksonville's playoff win over Pittsburgh last weekend, he was doing the same in a far more literal sense. Jaguars fullback Tommy Bohanon spent the entire 2016 campaign out of the NFL after being released during the preseason by the Jets. Faced with the possibility his pro career may be over, Bohanon began working for his father's small contracting company in North Fort Myers, Florida. Instead of knocking down defenders with blocks like he had for 3 seasons with the Jets as a 2013 7th-round pick from Wake Forest, Bohanon was putting down slabs wherever Tom's Concrete Inc. was contracted. AFC Championship picks, predictions, odds for Jaguars vs. Patriots. We were doing driveways, patios, sidewalks, pretty much anything, Bohanon told co-host Gil Brandt and me Monday night on SiriusXM NFL Radio. I would wake up around 6 a.m. and get my running and speed training out of the way. I would go work with my father throughout the day, then I would go back home and lift at night. I was trying to do everything I could to still make money, but I was still working out and doing everything I could to play in the NFL. I never lost that faith or anything like that. If I got another opportunity, I wasn't going to let it slip through my fingers. That became obvious in Jacksonville's 45-42 upset of the Steelers. Bohanon, who signed as a free agent with Jacksonville last April, helped the Jaguars open a 14-point lead with 4:18 remaining on a 14-yard touchdown catch. Bohanon ran uncovered down the heart of the Pittsburgh defense after the Steelers bit on a Blake Bortles play fake to running back Leonard Fournette. Tommy Bohanon scores a touchdown in the fourth quarter of the Jaguars' divisional playoff win over the Steelers. Getty Images. Bohanon credited Jaguars offensive coordinator Nate Hackett for adding the play during pre-game preparation to capitalize on the 22 personnel, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends and 1 wide receiver the Jaguars were using to feature Fournette in the running game. Bohanon said Jacksonville called a lead play up the middle with Fournette on the previous snap to see if they were going to put the look out there we wanted. Honestly, there's not too many plays that are intended for the fullback, Bohanon said with a laugh. If I could get the Mike linebacker to bite up even a little bit, I was going to be wide open over the middle because we kind of knew what coverage they were going to be in. Jacksonville's victory was especially sweet considering the disregard Steelers players were showing the Jaguars publicly before the game. The final insult came just before kickoff from Pittsburgh safety Mike Mitchell, who screamed outside the Jaguars locker room how Jacksonville players were going to know my name after the Steelers won. Bohanon said Marrone referenced Mitchell's comments in his pre-game speech. That kind of is off-putting to us because the first time we came to Pittsburgh we did what we wanted, said Bohanon, referring to Jacksonville's 30-9 road win over the Steelers in Week 5 of the regular season. To say stuff like that, it really didn't make sense to us. But we took it as disrespect. We didn't really need any fuel to the fire, but it added even more. NFL playoffs. Breaking down Jaguars' chances to win Super Bowl. Although he scored 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 1 receiving during the regular season, Bohanon has carved his niche by adding the type of blocking presence the Jaguars were seeking in a revamped offensive approach by Marrone and Hackett. Jacksonville led the NFL in rushing 141.4-yard average in attempts 527 with an attack spearheaded by Fournette. The number 4 overall pick in last April's draft, Fournette gained 1,040 yards while leading all rookie rushers in touchdowns, with 9. Against the Steelers, Fournette became the first rookie to ever rush for 100-plus yards and score 3 touchdowns in one postseason game. He's that downhill thumper that I think we needed for this offense, and he's been able to control the clock many days, Bohanon said. It's helped us out immensely. I mean, to have the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL, that's no small feat. An even bigger task is ahead Sunday for Jacksonville, trying to win on the road in New England for a spot in Super Bowl 52. The Patriots have surrendered just 189 rushing yards in their past 3 outings and, after a bumpy start, have allowed the NFL's lowest point total since Week 5 of the regular season. If New England takes away the run, Bortles must pick up the slack in the passing game. Whether that can happen is anybody's guess. The 4th-year quarterback's season remains a roller coaster with a poor aerial performance in Jacksonville's first-round win over Buffalo followed by an efficient, turnover-free, 214-yard showing against Pittsburgh. The thing with Blake is that he's never going to be too high and never going to be too low, Bohanon said. He's been that even-keel guy for us all year. He could throw an interception or throw a 90-yard touchdown and you're gonna get the same guy on the sideline. You're never going to have that fiery guy, and you're never going to have that guy that's down in the dumps. For us to have that kind of steady hand at the helm of our offense, it's helped us out a lot. Watch how trash-talking fires up Jaguars corner Jalen Ramsey. A Bill Belichick coached team won't provide any of the bulletin board type of material the Steelers gave the Jags as added motivation. In fact, it's the Jaguars that have already provided fodder to New England. Jacksonville cornerback Jalen Ramsey proclaimed the Jaguars were going to win the Super Bowl last Sunday during a post-game rally held at Everbank Field. In a phrase that Bohanon can relate to, it's now time for the Jaguars to set Ramsey's words in stone. We're still going to be the underdogs, no matter what game we go into, Bohanon said. But we kind of like that mentality of being able to go out there and still put on a show and do the things we need to win the game. Alex Marvez can be heard from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. ET Thursday and Friday on SiriusXM NFL Radio.